Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Down to Earth Astronomy. Today we're once again playing Fractured Space, and this time we're taking a look at the Colossus. It's a very well defended ship from the USR ship manufacturer. But let's go ahead and have a look at the different loadouts. For the main weapon you have two choices. You can either have the flak or the photonic charges. The flak, as you can see here in both cases actually, you have a total range of 8 kilometers, 624 meters, or 24 and 22, so almost the same range actually. The flak flies quite a bit slower. It takes them 2 seconds to get to their target, where it will only take them 1.2 seconds with the photonic charges. So you don't have to aim as much or give as much lead when you're firing with the charges. Both shots have an area of effect, and this is very important for the way you play the Colossus, because what it shoots out is small canisters that will explode after a certain amount of time. And they will have an area of effect. That means that even if you do not hit the actual target, if it's inside the area of effect, it still takes damage. And that of course means that if you have targets clumped up very close together, you can actually do damage to multiple targets at once. But you need them very close. And again, the flak has a high rate of fire. You see, it has a rate of fire of 0.12 seconds, and the photonic charges has 1 second rate of fire and cooldown. Though the photonic charges do a lot more damage per shot. I personally prefer to play with the charges, but the flags, again, it's not that one is better than the other. It's just what kind of play style suits you best. Then for your secondary weapon, you have the engine shutdown. It's a small electric charge you shoot at your enemy, and it simply disables their engines for 5 seconds. This can be very useful to prevent people from running away, to prevent people from getting into a cap area. If you're really close to capping the gamma section, you don't want your enemies to get in, you can disable their engines. Or if you're fighting a small, fast or nimble ship that's flying around you, you can disable his engine and get some good shots in. Now the Colossus itself, when it flies around, is fairly slow due to the massive amount of armor this ship has. But to compensate for that, you get 3 kinds of boosts. You can either get just a normal boost that boosts your velocity by 5,000% for 7 seconds with a 2-minute cooldown. You can get a short boost, same amount of boost, but instead of the 7 seconds, you only get half the amount of boost, and you get half the cooldown as well. Then you have a gyro boost that boosts your turning circle, or you turn faster for 4.5 seconds, sorry, and with a 2-minute cooldown again. Then you have different types of missiles. The missiles are actually identical. If you look at them, the only thing that varies is the pattern they are launched. So the standard missiles are launched from, I think, from the sides, and you can have dorsal missiles that fire from the top, or you get radial missiles that fire in that circular pattern all around you. So again, it's just a matter of taste, which one you like. And I guess, I mean, what you could end up having if you fire the dorsal, if you're flying underneath a rock, they could fire up into the rock and get destroyed. So you just need to know where your missiles are coming from to have clear space on that side. Then you have 3 different types of fighters that either slow the ship, they do some base damage, or you can have some that do more damage. But with the standard fighters, you can get a shorter cooldown if they are recalled, and yeah. So again, it's really a matter of taste. But let's go ahead and have a look at some gameplay, and I'll explain a bit more how I like to play the Colossus.
Commence operation.
So here we are. Now the Colossus, again, being a very well armored ship. If we notice here, just look at the amount of hit points I have. 15,900 hit points. So I hold back a bit at the beginning of the game, as I normally do, try to see where my teammates are going, so I can go and hopefully support them. 3 of us jumped to beta, I think. Yeah. And I noticed right here as we jumped there, I noticed one ship diving down behind the rocks. So I zoom in, try to spot him manually, and there he is. And looks like that's the enemy raider. You can often do that. You can spot your enemies even before they show up on the radar, because they will be rendered in the game even though you have not spotted them in the game. So he's getting in close. We haven't spotted anything else, so it's safe to assume we can move in. Now remember, we have that 8.5 kilometer range, plus minus 1 kilometer. So I try to keep him within that sweet zone, so we can do the damage. And notice here that even though I'm not hitting, I'm still doing full damage. So as long as you hit a ship within the area of effect, he will still take full damage from your shot. So it doesn't matter if you hit them out at 900 meters away from the ship, or you hit them square in the middle of their face. It doesn't really matter. You still do the same amount of damage with these shots. So that's a nice way of compensating for the fairly low turn rate of the guns. They sometimes can feel very, very slow, and the ship itself is also very slow. So we get the first ship down, and we focus our fire on the enemy Colossus, which is in here. And again, just notice here how much fire this guy's taking. We have a Leviathan, we have another Colossus, well, we have me and the Colossus, and we have a Protector, all shooting at him. And he's doing pretty well. Now he's of course going down now, but it took a long time to get this guy down compared to what you would expect from a ship taking that amount of damage. Now here's a Reaper. I take a cheeky shot, but it hits the mining outpost. I don't want to go out right in front of him, because that Reaper can do a lot of damage if he's facing you. So I'm trying to use the mining outpost to shield myself from him. Now it looks like he's focusing on someone else. So I go down, I get some damage in. I try to move up to avoid his cone of attack, his main guns at the front. But luckily he turns away, so I get a little bit of breathing space, but he turns back towards me. It doesn't really look like he has any interest in shooting at me at the moment. Looks like he's shooting at the Leviathan. And he's not really able to keep his front towards the Leviathan, which reduces his damage quite a bit. So we almost have him down. I begin to take some damage from below. I try to figure out where the damage is coming from. And that's when I spot the enemy raider. I set my fighters towards him. I disable him, which is my opportunity to launch my missiles. Now he's a mobile missile, should have an easier target to hit. I get a decent missile hit in on him. And he's beginning to just circle around me. And that's where I don't want to be, because that means if I miss him, he's just gonna fly long and not do any damage. So I use my boost to get away from him, and he begins to move back in towards me, which gives me a good opportunity to get some good shots in at him while he's moving in through my sweet zone, which is from those 9.5 to 7.5 kilometers. And we get him down before he gets too close, or at least we got an assist, I think. Now I got my nose stuck on a rock there, and for a brief moment there we didn't really see any ships in the sector, but here they come. That's the Reaper, that's the Brawler that we don't want to get up close, and the Colossus is here. So I'm considering turning around, getting stuck into the fight, but I realized that all the guys have been respawning, which means they are currently at level 2, most likely. I haven't been back to any space or forward station since this game started, which of course means that I'm still at level 0, so I decide to go back and get some repairs. Now we have a friendly Protector here. He's done a very good job of keeping both me and also the Leviathan alive. Now, did the Leviathan go down? I'm not really sure, didn't see. But he's done a very good job of at least keeping me alive. So I feel a bit bad leaving him with all those ships out there. But I really needed to go back, get those upgrades, so I can go back in the action and be competitive with the other ships. Now the Protector has done a good job. He's got out of the way of the main force from the enemy, and he's now trying to get in cover behind me. The Leviathan is taking quite a bit of damage at the moment, and decide to open up the brawler, which I believe at this moment is the main damage dealer. Since he did a good job previously keeping on the side and above or below the Reaper, I decide to focus on the brawler. The brawler begins to move in close to me. That's what you really don't want to do, because once he gets in close, he can really begin to do a lot of damage. Luckily, he didn't focus on me, and we get him down before he do any significant damage. Meanwhile, the Leviathan has done a good job almost killing the Reaper. I go in and help him. And now there's just the Colossus left. We both focus on him, and we have just about 1 minute before Gamma Sector unlocks. So now we really begin to think about what we should do and how we should play this out. If we get this Colossus down, there's a good chance that he might not respawn before the Gamma Sector unlocks, which is going to be a lot of hit points that we don't have to worry about at the beginning of the fight, at the Gamma Sector at least. So that's 30 seconds now. We see the Sentinel at the other end of the sector, and he's jumping most likely to the Gamma Sector. So I decide to go in together with the Leviathan and begin to contest that Gamma Sector. Notice again, I turn my ship because you keep your orientation through the jump. There's an enemy ship in here, so he's on a fraction of health, and one shot and he's down. That's the first enemy down very, very quickly. He probably should have gone to his base and get some repairs. He would have been of much more help to his team. I try to move into the capping area because I don't want them to get the cap or get the Gamma Sector from us while we're actually here. That would be very, very stupid. So you really need to go in and get in close, even though you might be in a long range ship. It might be a good idea to actually go in and just to help with the capping process. So right now we are currently in front. We are decapping them, so we have more ships than they have. And there goes one of them. There's a Sentinel right next to me. So I set my fighters at him. He's not really using his mobility. That's really the Sentinel's strong side. It's very fast and very maneuverable. But he's just sitting there right next to him. And if you're sitting in a Sentinel right next to a Colossus, you're gonna have a bad day. But right now I am swarmed. But notice here, I don't know if you saw that, I'm actually hitting multiple ships. I can see here, I'm hitting all 3 of them because of the area of effect. So you can get some very, very good damage for each shot if you can manage to clump them up as you did right there. Sentinel is almost down. There he go. And now we just have the Brawler next to me again. The Brawler can do a lot of damage if he focuses on you, and he's very close to me, so I really want to get this guy down as quickly as possible. Even though I'm still being swarmed by enemy ships, which is good. It means I can do damage to all of them at once. So, Brawler's taking decent damage. I am at half health, but luckily we have the Protector that helps me back up. Just before he began to heal me, I noticed that I was taking a lot of damage from the Brawler, so I used my boost to get away, because I really want to avoid that large amount of damage. Luckily our missiles have a good range, but I think he managed to get in cover behind the Gamma Sector. And it's still very, 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 very even here at the Gamma Sector. We're only capping now, but we just managed to begin to cap. Now the Brawler tries to jump out, but we deny him. And now we just focus on the Sentinel, which apparently has respawned. He's trying to jump out as well. I try to get him with a missile attack, and I think we actually managed to get a few shots in before he managed to jump out. And again, we see a Colossus here. They are all scrambling to get back to their base because we managed to unlock. He managed to disable our engines just before we got in. We fire our point defense to take down the missiles he fired at us, and now it's just about getting to that base, helping with that cap process. We have, I think, 4 enemy ships was just spotted at the enemy base, and we are only 3 ships right now. Only 1 is inside the base. So I begin to, even though the Colossus has a lot of hit points, I try to focus on him because he's the only one in range that is close to the capping bubble, and I want to reduce the number of ships they have in the bubble so we can begin, or can continue capping. we're doing some good damage here to the Colossus. I use my boost because I want to get into that bubble as quickly as possible to help contest the base. This also means I get in very, very close to the other Colossus. I'm taking a lot of damage right now. I'm almost down, but we managed to get the Colossus down. I'm being focused down by everyone, and finally they do manage to take us down. Now that was the first time I died here, so I think it was at least. But we're having a 40-second respawn time still. And right now we are still not really capping. They did manage to stop it. We did manage to cap a little bit, and now we are capping again. Very slowly though, but we are capping. We just need to get one of them down, and that should dramatically increase the rate that we are capping. And we have just 15 seconds before we respawn here. Now the Leviathan here, notice he's outside the capping circle. He really should get in, and I think he noticed that. I don't know if he's drifted out by accident. But as he's moving back in, we should begin to cap. See, there we go. Just as he moved in, we managed to begin to cap again. I make a massive misplay here. I jumped to the beta sector, but notice we have not unlocked jump access from the beta sector. That means I cannot jump to the enemy base while I'm in this sector. I should have jumped to gamma or alpha, because we unlocked the jump access from alpha, but not from beta. So you noticed here, oh no, I cannot jump. So I think, okay, I quickly need to move to gamma before I can jump in to the enemy base. But right now we are capping at a decent rate, and I doubt I'm going to make it into the base before we are done. And 1 second that we can jump, I activate the jump. Oh, almost capped, and no, I'm not really gonna make it into to the enemy base before we cap it. That was a very quick battle, but I think it showed very well how the Colossus can be played, or how I play it at least. Use that massive amount of damage to soak up, that massive amount of armor to soak up damage from the enemy ships. Use your boost to get away when you need to, or get into a tactical position when it's needed. And just keep that fire up. That's really what the Colossus does. It's not a massive burst damage ship. It just wears you down over time, and it uses that armor to get the time that it needs to take you down. I hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a like down below, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel for more Fractured Space videos in the future. And also next time, I will see you in space.